Hey everyone, I want to walk through the progress real quick, and what I'll do is actually share a video of a couple of the guys on our crew doing part of the work, and just the detail to be able to really control the outcome and analyze how things are moving and be able to recognize what's working, what's not, tracking everything properly. Well, I think I told you in the last recording that the biggest things we're doing before we can just land square on the messages is IVR navigation. That means going through phone menus that do different things, like press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, is vastly different than press 1 for Mr. Smith, press 2 for Mrs. Robinson. And then those are vastly different than press 1 to talk to law firm A in our company, or law firm A in the building, and press 2 to talk to law firm B in the building, kind of thing, right? Well, we've been going through this stuff and setting up for different industries so that we can compare apples to apples. But the biggest thing we discovered was IVR navigation is common. And so being able to handle IVR navigation was a big deal, and we're almost totally on top of that. I'm going to show you an example of that in a minute. And voicemail, we've pretty much nailed voicemail recognition. Believe it or not, it's not so easy. Depending on when the voicemail kicks up, it's you have reached so-and-so, we're not here right now, or regularly scheduled hours are da-da-da-da-da. Please leave a message at the tone. That's one thing, and you got to program the bot to tell the difference between that and thinking it's hearing an IVR, a phone menu, or talking to a live person. And of course, there's a lot of detail that goes into that. But just to give you a sense of how involved this stuff is, first we have to set up all these scenarios, which are, a piece of software driving another piece of software that drives another piece of software, or a script that drives a script, either in the same tool or a different tool, which can drive a script in a different tool, which can choose whether to drive a script in this tool or another one in the same tool, depending on the situation. So for instance, you see some steps, and then you'll see something with +4, meaning not just this step, this step, this step, but 4 more. And then this is these 3 plus 9 more, plus 7 more, right? Some of these get pretty involved, plus 20 more, right? Dynamic assistance fill messages from the Google Sheet. That gives you an example of that. So having said that, there's all this stuff here, right? It's absolutely huge. And so with that in mind, scenarios, mapping them out. We're pretty much on top of everything going on with the scenarios for all these different things. But what else do I want to say? Yeah, here's an example of just a process that leads to another, which has to choose to do one of these things, and so on, right? These are involved. They are crazy involved. But we've really mastered many of these for the purposes of running the calls at scale. Well, again, the name of the game is to minimize the errors so that we can maximize the best results while we're spending our money, right? And get the right things to happen. If I were to look into like dynamic assistance and just browse it, it's going to take me through, and there's pieces to it that need to be done. We figured out how to split our messages into subsections that we can choose to use. They're optional. But then that way we can test different openers with different middle points, with different call to actions. And that way, if we're tracking the results of the combinations, then we can see what combinations are working best, that kind of thing. This is really a big idea because it helps us figure out where call to actions are working, where FOMO is working, fear of missing out, where certain openers are leading into more reception than others, and so on. So it's a big deal getting this stuff right. And so using these formats, these variations on a theme, then as we call through a bunch of phone numbers, it can choose. It can choose from the voices and the names, even randomly, but it tracks the ID. It can choose the opening line, even randomly, but it tracks the ID. And yes, we have variables. So for different industries and stuff, the variables are included all throughout this. Then same with the first part of the discussion, the next part of the discussion, the next part. And we can even have more than one knowledge base we can add an item and add second knowledge bases and stuff if we have a reason to have additional knowledge bases or test some additions and see how they act. So it's absolutely cool how far we got with this. So yeah, I'm telling you, this is so involved and so much happening here, and it's all great because we're just about to go, you know, and almost everything we have to do moving forward is going to be just monitor, tweak, add variations, monitor, tweak, subtract variations, monitor, tweak, dial in variations until we're maximizing conversions and then just scaling. It's nuts. So there's that. And then here, just to show you the example also, you know, when we step in, all these scripts are built out. All those IDs for all the different things that need to be done are documented out. First message and then prompt. And this prompt can be busted into the pieces, like I said. But this is a static prompt, right? It'll be read differently every time by the AI. The AI will stick to the idea. But with the dynamics, we can actually split the messages into parts. This can be like the first part, you know, of the idea. That although this is what? Where are we? Yeah. Next part of the idea. Now, some of this, of course, is just simply instructions. You know, the actual script's pretty short. But I think you get the idea. Okay. Having said that, I'm going to let you listen to the recording so you can just sort of hear how the stuff is being built in real time. So if you're interested, you know, that's it's pretty cool to listen to and just think, man, that's a lot going into it. But it's deep, it's tying the system together. And for all of you guys just wondering, are we making great progress? The answer is yeah. All right, I want to also close with this point. We're nailing voicemails and leaving messages after the beep pretty much all the time now, which is great. Now, we haven't scaled, so, you know. But our tests have gotten dramatically better, and that's really what we needed. Because they're covering all the standard cases, the cases that are normal. There's always going to be some dead spots, but we expect that. Now, when we talk about IVR navigation progress, which, of course, IVR, I keep saying IVR, it's the interactive voice recordings. So it's the phone menus. Press 1 for this, press 2 for that. Look at this. This is just an example of how it tracked, okay? The user said on the other end of the phone when we called him, "Thank you for calling the law firm of Lipsitch Green, da-da-da-da-da. Our normal office hours, da-da-da-da-da." So wouldn't that sound like a voicemail? But it's not quite, is it? If you know the 3-digit extension number of the person you're calling, dial it. If you'd like access to the firm's telephone directory, please press 1. If it's an emergency, you need to speak to someone else, press 0 for assistance. So it's really important that our assistants don't press 0, although if they do, it's just going to, you know, it's going to make itself clear that it's not an emergency. So check it out. Our function used the dial tone keys, all right? And what did it do? It typed a 1, okay? Which is what it was saying, right? If press 1 for the firm's telephone directory. Okay, now what? The user says, okay, to say the name of the person you're looking for, press 1. We could do that. To spell the name of the person you're looking for, press 2. Thing is, our assistant didn't have any name. So it doesn't know how to deal with number 1, so it just happened to choose number 2. Right? And it's like, to say the name using at least the first 3 letters, please spell the last name of the person, da-da-da. So it's typing something and then hitting the pound sign, just like it was told to do, okay? The thing is, it's guessing, because it didn't have a name in this case. Using at least the first 3 letters, please spell the last name of the person, da-da-da. Yeah, and what it's saying is no matching names, please try a different spelling, you know. And so, no match, right? And finally, it understood from us when we spoke, wait while I transfer your call, because it wasn't getting anywhere with that. So it did that. And then what? Okay, we're using the DY outbound, that script, and okay, the bot kicked in. Hello, da-da-da-da-da. Why wouldn't you want this? It's like, thank you for calling. Somebody be with you momentarily. Oh, okay. Great, thank you. Are you still there? Good morning. Thank you for holding. Thank you for calling. My name is Anna. How may I help you? Hello, Anna. This is James with Easy DUI Leads. I wanted to introduce our AI-powered service, User, so you're connected with their service. The office is scheduled to open at 8:15 this morning. They're not in as of yet. I'd be happy to take a message and request a callback for you. Is there a particular person you're trying to reach? Thank you, Anna. No specific person. Could you please have someone from your team call me back when they're available? My name is James, and you can reach us at 616-834, so on and so forth. And that is freaking cool, okay? Because it went through like 10 hoops to get to the end result without just crashing. And this is a complex IVR scenario, right? This wasn't easy for it to face, but that's what I mean. We've covered so much ground that we're really able to dig in deep before we take off and scale the calls open, right? So this is cool. What could it also do instead of, hey, give us a call back? It could say, visit our website. Could say, what is an email and a name where we can contact you? And then we can take that information and drop into a newsletter automatically. It's all programmed automatically. So this is neat because we're basically to the point where we'll say we're as good as we can be with IVR. Probably another day or two, and we're just going to say we're not going to do any better than we're doing, anytime soon. So let's just go ahead and start scaling. And like I said, we pretty much nailed voicemail. And of course, we're nailing human interaction. So we are almost to the point where it's just about the messages. And like I said, we figured out how to split the message and create variations on each part of the message and ID those variations. So when we're actually calling different phone numbers, we track the combination of variations we're using in each case so that we can spot trends, right? So we can do all the same variation. We can do random variations. We can just choose between 2 different things or 3 different things. So we have all the power to be able to properly identify what's working, what's not, because we track it all and we graph the results visually so that we can easily see without having to just study all the data, say, what's going on. So yeah, I am very, very happy to be this far along. This is pretty much the system working, okay? Today's Sunday. So yeah, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, I think we're going to start working on calling hard, harder anyway, and just making sure we're on track, monitoring, tweaking, and increasing the scale so we can get enough results to know that we're on track or not, But, I love it. Pretty soon, we're going to have just automated set points, combinations of the message that are not working at scale. The system will hit a threshold where it just throws those combinations out. It will not allow those combinations anymore. Okay? Versions that perform better than others are going to get weighted more. So like out of every 100 calls or 200 calls, there's going to be a higher percentage using what seems to be the better messages. Now, as we keep making calls, we get a greater statistical analysis, especially industry by industry is different. So if we get shifts of the weighting, that's okay, because we're always going to track and always going to make adjustments for that. How's that for cool? Teaching this thing how to behave properly and follow its own best results as we go without locking it off. Just always be aware of be sensitive to results changing and shift appropriately. That's great. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know that this is how far we got so far. We are really, really close to running this the way we want. And so I'm happy. It feels later than it meant to because we didn't realize we do this many pieces, but I really don't care because the perfection means we can scale. We can get as many phone numbers as we want running in parallel and make as many calls as we wish in parallel, to as many companies as we want in parallel. So that's why so much time and attention has been placed on perfecting the convertibility of what we're doing, the accuracy of our assistants calling and doing things right. And then if somebody says, can I schedule a call with you, over to, we can either send them the link by email or tell them the link to go to schedule, or we can take the information and insert it ourselves. We can say, which is better for you, Monday or Wednesday? afternoon or evening, or morning, and literally lock in a time for them over the phone. They don't even need to visit the website and choose their own. We can just figure it out and put it in for them. Okay. And that will actually create an alert for me for that call coming up, that kind of thing, right? If they're going to schedule a call. For guys who want to visit the webpage, we can just send it to them. For guys who want us to email them the information, we can take their email and email them. We can put them into a newsletter feed, really, which is the right idea. But we can get them the information they're after, which is going to be the opening information. That's what they're after. For guys who say, call Rob back on Tuesday in the afternoon at this phone number, things like that, we actually can follow that. We can add Rob and the phone number and the reason for the call, what we need to tell them, into the schedule for that day for the time that they want, and actually just have it run naturally, So the notion that we can do all this automatically is awesome. This system is almost running itself completely the way it should be. And scaling, monitor, tweak, and scale. And set the standard so that the system can decide what to get rid of and what to focus more on. So we can give it more things to test, and it can just weed out everything that's not working and weed in, with better weighting, everything that's working better. Oh, I love it. It's so close. I love this. And when we're done, we'll be able to run whatever we want through it. The offers can be for any industry. They can be whether we're going to give away leads for free or hook them up or get them in a list or have them go sign up in exchange for getting some free leads. That's great. All this stuff is about to happen. And that just allows us to run forward with all this. Okay. Just wanted to let you know that we're that close. All right. Without further ado, I'll let you listen to the recording that was done by, it's two of the programmers who met to talk about their component and what they had to do. So it's good to listen to. Do you have to? No. Do you want to? Probably. It's interesting to see what it takes to build this stuff right. And watching just a day in the life of a couple of programmers on this crew, a programmer and a cold caller actually working together to make sure that the cold caller understands how to use the new programming. And that way you can just see, what we're building here, what we've been building, and how far we got. It's crazy. All right.
Yeah. So what I did the last week, I made a lot of the changes to our VAPI assistant automation. So previously we used the assistants from here, all the configurations from here, for example, plumbing. So all parameters that we have here, including provider, some transcriber, voice, advanced, everything, we were taken from here just by assistant ID from here. But now we had an idea with David, and I think you started to discuss this idea even before, to have some options to test more parts of assistance, like, for example, first messages, to have several first messages and put them randomly and check which one works better. Same for the system prompt. We can break it to several parts and assign these parts randomly, and then check what performance for each part. So also we wanted to use some variables inside the prompts or first messages. For example, we want to have name of the person or city. So this is also possible only if we use dynamic assistance. And that's why I changed the approach and moved all main parameters to this table. So you can see some parameters like knowledge base IDs. then voices, yeah, voices, for example. First messages, here we will have different messages, which will be assigned randomly for each call. And we have ID, and we have also active parameters that we can change. And in that case, for example, you want to test one specific route, like a first message in system prompt. So you disable all the first messages that you don't need, test the call, and then enable the ones which you want, for example. Is it clear, or I need to explain more the idea of everything?
Okay.
Sorry, dude.
No, wait.
Do you get
Was that
the
last?
main idea, like about the active parameters or about the system prompts, different system prompts, breaking that down? Do you get that?
Yeah. So you can add the different changes there. So you get to that from, how'd you get there? Do you click all dynamic assistants? Then let me pull up my make too, so I can.
Let me try to explain. For example, okay, let me try to explain from like start of the algorithm. Yeah. So we want to call one person. We took him from the Google sheet and we know his number and everything. We know that this is plumbing, for example. We need a plumbing assistant. Yeah. Then we need to build this plumbing assistant from scratch. And we will take, for example, first message number 2, system prompt number 2, system prompt line 1 number 2, line 2 number 1, for example, here this one, or maybe some of them may be empty, or this doesn't matter. And we build this assistant to get the same as here, but built from that part. Yep. And the parts will be like random. And then as we have IDs for each of the part, I can later make a statistic. So for example, if this call was successful, we mark that, okay, this ID and this ID and this ID work good. But for example, for different combination, maybe that will be not good and we will know that in our statistics, but we need a lot of data for sure to understand that.
Yeah. So it's that's cool. I like that. So we can add different things to try different tactics and different outreach approaches. So do we pull those, let's say, for the first message? So we can add like the 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that already what's in there, or can we add new ones?
Yeah, you can add how many, as many as you want. So you press edit here, just edit, and you see, okay, ID number 1, active no, and some message. Then, sorry, let me drink some tea. So item number 2, 3, 4. So you can add new item. Just make sure that ID is different from the others, and put some message here. So this is how you can update the messages. This is what you will need to do. Also, what I think when I try to break it down, I noticed that sometimes it could be weird. For example, this assistant, we cannot break to the parts because some first messages will not match with the middle messages of this assistant. We cannot just make it like take first part of this assistant and then second part of plumbing, second part of this assistant, right? Because they are different. So maybe we need to change approach of building assistants a little bit. I saw in some videos from YouTube that they make it differently. They make some parts like they put something like this is a goal of assistant, and then I think you also saw this. This is like instructions or something else. I will find some examples. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
this is what they do. They make it, and I think it's more natural for prompts for AI to have some sections. And for the sections, yes, it will be good that we can just replace sections, right? And our line 1 will be goal and line 2 will be instructions, for example, right? So maybe we can think how to do that. Before that, you can just use only system prompt line 1 and put here our assistant A and here assistant B in the full prompt. Before you get an idea how to break them differently to have different lines. And if you want more lines in the future, I will have to add that in automations, support of that. It's not so dynamic. So if you will need some line 3, I will have to make a changes. So just let me know. I will do that if you need.
No, it's really cool. How did you get to that from is that under scenarios or team in Make?
In Make, it's under scenarios.
Scenarios.
So we have squads here. And for you to test, I made this small automation make test call that will execute this squad dynamic code caller. So let me explain the table first, and then we will, however, maybe, okay, let's maybe see the automation. Maybe it will make a little bit clear for you what the table is. So we can start from this, okay. So for example, this is an automation. You don't need to do this. You don't need to even open this automation. You just need this small one. But to show you how it works, I will do it. So you go to make test call, press edit, and press run once. And here you put your phone number and industry. Industry is from this assistant table. Should be the same. This is important. This is like ID. So you press OK. And so I have to press run to show you, but it will call me now. Okay. So just let me return to here. So let's try again. So you just press run once, and here I want to catch this. So you see it catched. And so what we have, we are getting assistant settings from the main assistant, which is plumbing. And we get just overall. Yeah, so we get that. Then we get, we will later look at it. We will get appointment booker assistant, which is separate now from the main one. Also, we will get record from voicemail detection assistant, which is also separate one. Then I get some settings for analysis from this, mainly from this stuff. The success evaluation prompt and all this that we use for KPI tab. Then I build variables. This is a really tricky one. So here I do these random things like what is the first message, what is line 1, line 2, line 3. And phone number ID is also random. Phone number that we are calling, our phone number. And voice is also random. So if you want to add 2 voices, you will have to add them by IDs. Voices is right here. And I also notice the problem that some of voices are female, some of them male. So we have to put here their names and then include that names into the first message or to the lines, because when you say that, okay, hello, this is James, sometimes it can be female voice. So I made a variable for that. Like here, voice name. This is voice name, and it will take the voice from that line, from the voice settings. So yeah, so here I'm making variables to get all these random lines, and then we basically build a request to Vati with all our assistants and variables and so on. So we have a content here. This is for my voicemail. Okay, this is for this is for our plumbing assistant. So assistant name plumbing. This is also not static. This is dynamic because we have different industries, and we'll assign it dynamically here. Then we have content built from that parts. You are polite, professional, and so on. Then we have first message, like good morning, and so on. And it will be random from that settings. Server URL, you don't need to change it, but it is also set here for each assistant. It is different. Also, phone number IDs are different. And okay, knowledge base ID. Here, I wanted to ask you if we need to use two knowledge bases at the same time, or we better select random for also for checking something. What do you think?
Using two ones. I think so. I discussed with David before about this, about having a specialized knowledge base along with a general knowledge base. And he said at the time to just have one, but I do think having additional ones can be helpful just when they, there's just like a ton of information that can be there. So that was your question, correct? Utilizing two knowledge bases?
No, it should be fine. It is supposed to receive a collection, an array of knowledge bases, so we can put several. And here we also can assign several knowledge bases. Yep. So
Okay.
it is absolutely supported, and we can do that. But we need to choose, or we test different knowledge bases, like same as for phone numbers, we select randomly one of two. Yep. Or we decide that we use both of them at the same time. For now, I made that we use both.
Okay. Yeah, I think they shouldn't be. I think the only difference between them now is just how I'm trying to leverage, I guess, probably I would just use one for now, and then if we're gonna use two, I can adjust to have the second one with additional information. But I understand. Yeah, just we have the ability to use several, so
you
that's
can
cool.
use some common one, for example, and assign it to each assistant, but for different industries, have some additional small one and make it different for each assistant, for example. Okay, so yeah, so this is how we build this huge request with all settings. Some of the settings I hard-coded, like the ones which we have here, like stability, clarity, this all will be the same for all assistants. If you just need some of parameters and you want to change it, for example, wait seconds or what we had, some silent duration also we had it somewhere. I don't remember. I think we changed one parameter to 20 seconds or 10 seconds, like. Okay. Silence timeout. Yeah, this one. So if you want, I can include this parameter also to the table, so we will be able to change it. But I don't think we need to. I think we set it to 18. It works fine for now. Just let me know if you want to if you see that you need one of the parameters that you had here in the UI, and I will include it because everything, of course, is included to this big request, but not everything I put to the table.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, yeah, this table is a replacement for WAPI UI, and we will not use this assistance anymore. I think we will still have inbound. Let it be. It's simple to configure it there. Maybe later we will think if we need to change inbound. For outbound, we will start using this table. I hope it will be working fine. And
so to get there, so to make those adjustments, go through to scenarios, squads, the squad dynamic caller, and then just hit edit, and that's when I can start adding the new different lines, just making those adjustments to A/B test certain things. I'll go in and start making those changes like you suggested with like the goal or instructions. I think that's a good idea to make it simple for the AI to follow along so we can cut and paste those easily. So I can start changing those up. And then, yeah, that looks really good. It seems like it's going to be a real
now
cool thing.
About some new things about Squad. Yep. Let me explain you because, it's not perfectly working now. When I tested, we have like 3 assistants in one squad. It will be one of industry assistants. For example, plumbing will be together with appointment and voicemail assistants in one squad. And first I try to make plumbing assistant first. And then if it sees that this is a voicemail, then it will transfer to voicemail detection, where we can put some very specific instructions like, okay, you need to identify voicemail correctly. If person says a long phrase with 2+ sentences, most likely this is a voicemail, and so on. So we can put to this voicemail, we can put very specific instructions and do not spoil like this industry assistant with these instructions. It seems to be a good idea, but to identify voicemail, we need already these instructions too. So I thought, okay, maybe we need to put a voicemail detection first. So we will start from it, but then we need to take a first message from our main assistant, so we can start to call with the right message for the industry. Okay, I made that. And okay, it starts here. We don't have a first message because it will take it from here. And then with these instructions, okay, it sees that this is a real person and it redirects to the main assistant. And then the problem is that main assistant will say the first phrase again. And this is weird. So I checked some settings and we have first message mode setting for WAPI. In the documentation, it is like, okay, we have assistant speaks first. This is clear. Also, assistant waits for user. Then assistant don't say anything before person says, but it doesn't work for our case because, okay, our assistant transfer the call, but then it waits for a person to say something, but person will not say anything. And there is some clever option like assistant speaks first with model generated message. Need to try this. For me, it just repeats the first phrase again. Maybe if person says something more like, I don't know.
Something more specific, not just hello or.
Yeah, maybe it will go with the right message, but maybe it will generate another first message in this case. Or I have to just disable the first message for main assistant. So we will still configure it here for the for the plumbing, for example. Yeah, we will put the industry first messages here, but we know that it doesn't take it for plumbing assistant in this quote, but it will take it for voicemail assistant for the first phrase. And then with the setting of assistant speaks with model generated message, it will probably continue the conversation properly. I hope so. So need to test that. Maybe you will have an idea when you try some different prompts. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to come up with a couple since Dave brought it up, just trying to like keywords, or it's been, just trying to find the right way to engage it, because it'll start speaking too early, I noticed, and then we can just try to play around a couple of different things. I'll keep twisting it.
And another thing, you can add knowledge base to voicemail detection assistant, but then I think it tries to speak with the person and not redirecting to the right assistant because it already had some information and it's trying to to talk with him. So I removed it from here, but we can add some knowledge base for this assistant, also some specific one. What else? Yeah, so we can play around with these parameters, with knowledge base with this. Also, let me know if you want me to remove first message from the main assistant, like not from here, but from my automation. So in this script, in this request, I need to remove it from the main assistant. And also, you know what you can do when you have a call. Let me find some of my tests with a long call. This is not. So when you see no assistant assigned here in logs, this means that we use our dynamic assistant. We can identify by phone number that this is with which industry is that. And okay, so for example, one of my calls. I want to find one thing. It shows here in this log that it transferred to another assistant in this class. Okay, sorry, I cannot find it, but I will find it later. Or you, when you test it, just check this log, and you see that it says that okay, it transferred to plumbing outbound, or it transferred to voicemail detection, or it transferred to book appointment. For book appointment, I didn't test it yet. I think nobody tries to book an appointment, so we can leave it for later. For us, the first thing now is to set up voicemail detection so we can deal with it very fast and make our assistants great again. And also about the variables. So I added some variables, for example. So, okay, you know that we have voice name variable in the first message and line 1 and 3. Also, you can use city variable. I also tried it. It works very fine. For example, in the first message. It's sorry that it will be maybe not so easy to use as before because UI is not perfect, but I cannot do anything about that. Maybe we can return to the Google Sheet for some of the parameters, but it will be a mess, I think. So let me know if it's really hard to modify for you from this table, we will think about some better UI for you because I
No,
understand
it's
this.
not, it shouldn't be too hard. It's pretty, once I
Maybe you,
just get a full under, now that I see how it looks, I can make a key, if you will, to follow, you know, like percentage city or percentage first name, just so I can make those adjustments. But that makes sense to me. I think this is that's a good process you've built out.
yeah, but I mean that this UI is not good because you don't see the whole phrase here, the whole settings that you put, and it's
Oh yeah.
not good to modify it here. Maybe you will do it in some notepad
Mm,
and then copy paste it here. Yeah, it's
okay.
not so nice as before. So that's why I'm thinking maybe we need to do it in a Google Sheet and then maybe update it here. I don't know. Let me know
Mm,
what you think.
okay. Yeah, I guess it depends how many we end up testing, but
Mhm.
if we do more and more, yeah, that may be the move. That may be the right plan is to do a Google Sheet, but as of right now, we can do this and just see how it goes.
Okay. Okay. And also we can use first name and company name, but this should be a specific phrase, like if first name will be empty, that will not
Hmm.
break the logic because I don't know. I will think maybe later how to do it. Like, okay, if first name is empty, uh, in this specific place of the
Mm,
sentence, then we just ignore the whole sentence. But this is already something about your AI, not
yeah.
about normal programming. So, but city and voice name you can use every time because city we always have it.
Hmm.
First name, company name. Just think maybe if you put it in at the end of the sentence, that will not break the logic of the sentence if it is empty, for example.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Okay. The transcriptions will be still here in the KPI tab, and for now, we're just testing, so you will test it from that make automation, but later it will be doing the same job. It will take leads from this table and put transcriptions here. For now, it will just put transcriptions here. And here I have my tests, for example, and can read it here. For statistics, I didn't complete it yet. I'm just wanted to discuss with you if you have any ideas for adjusting this table or something that I need to change. And later
Yeah,
I will start to make something about statistics.
yeah. I don't think on my end any changes. I like how this looks. I think it's going to be a lot easier to test different things than it was in Vappy. I think this is going to be a good thing just to pick and choose. I just need to get more familiar with how to navigate
Mhm.
through it. But I think it's a solid build out. Once I get able to play around in it more, I think I'll be able to give some more concrete feedback on how it flow looks. But as of right now, I really like this, how you can choose the different voices. So with that, it's just when adding a new voice, it's just I would go through um and those are already preset from the Vappy assistant, correct?
Let me show you where you can take the IDs. Yeah, maybe that will answer a question. So if you want to add new voice, you go to the voice library and you, for example, we have that Garrett voice. So you find this voice, you test it, and here is the ID. So you
Mhm.
have even the button here to copy it. You take this ID, go to our
Okay.
voices and names, add item, this is this ID, and put the name of of James. Just put James, and that's all. So this is how you can add new
Okay.
voice, and you can add different voices for each industry. For voicemail and appointment, of course, it will take the same voice from the initial call because we want to make it transparent. This move from one assistant to another. So we just want to use the same settings for all assistants in this cloud. On knowledge bases, the same thing. You just go to the files and you have ID here. You upload it as usual and you have this ID here. So everywhere where you see this button to copy, this will be an ID. So you can
Okay.
take it from here. Phone numbers, I don't think you need to set up it, but also we have this ID here. So we just set up this part in WAPI, and then, but we don't use outbound assistance anymore. Everything else will be here.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, that's great. I think that's all from my side.
Yeah, it's cool. And then you wanted to, when David gets back, have another meeting to go over this again with him.
I think I can share this video with him. And maybe we will have some results from your testing. I don't know if you are working on the weekends, but maybe you will have some updates and we can make a meeting together and you will give us.
Yeah, if you want, I know it depends on your schedule and his, but yeah, if he has any additional questions, I'd be happy to hop on to another call with you, with all three of us next week if you'd like, or whatever works best for your schedule. But yeah, this has been a huge help.